Welcome back to this anniversary edition of Talking About Rock. We're so happy to have with us returning Buffalo Music Hall of Famer, Jessie Galante. Hello, thanks for coming back to the show for us. How's it going?
Thanks, Rob.
Hi, Jessie.
Thanks for having me on your anniversary show. Very cool. Thanks
thank you so much.
Everything you're doing, supporting all of us musicians and bands all over, and it's great to be back. Thanks.
Well, we love rock music. We've been talking about it since we were 12 or 13 years old. So we can't get enough of it. It's a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and Rob can agree to that fact as well.
Exactly. And you were hailed as the first lady of Buffalo rock back in the day, and then inducted into the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame in 2010.
Yes.
That's just great. We spoke to some of your other friends earlier today. We spoke with Billy Sheehan and Jimmy Crean. So we wanted to check in with you and see, what's going on with you. Any updates on recording new material or shows or what's happening?
Yes, I do. There's something on my screen I think I have to activate. Hang on a second. I hope this doesn't screw things up. There we go. Don't look at my anyway, yeah, I've been actually, there's a lot going on right now. Now that the world is opening up again, there's so many things coming in, and I'm really excited about it. One of the things I was doing during the pandemic was going through all my archives. I have tons of external drives with a lot of sessions and material, and I found a lot of material that I wrote that I never did anything with, that I think I got all excited about. Oh my God, I don't remember this. And so I have a couple songs that I wrote on my, just myself, that I'm going to nurture. And then there's about 2 albums worth of material that I wrote with János Such. Now, János is the guy that I wrote Spitfire, my CD Shine with, and I've toured with him multiple times. He's from Hungary. And so but let me back up again on the songs that I wrote, and some of the ones that are up for, that I've already started working with, and it's called, this one particular song, it's called I Wish I Might. And I wrote it actually years ago, and I said, wow, I think I'm gonna release it. And it's a little out of the box. It's not typical of what I would record and release. It's pretty dark and theatrical. And one of the things I wanted to do something different. And in going through all my hard drives and lyrics and papers, I found this poem that Larry wrote. It's a love poem. And I sat there on the floor, we're going through folders, sat there reading this poem, crying my eyes out. I mean, it's a love poem. I said, what the hell am I gonna do with this thing? I'm gonna do something with it.
Right.
So I've attached it to this song called I Wish I Might. And like I said, it's dark, it's pretty theatrical, but it also at the end has a very pretty light kind of, close to it. So
I love it.
That I've already have been recording the vocals. I'm just tweaking, and it has to be mixed and mastered, and then I'm gonna release it and also do a little video, kind of like a simple video with that. So that's number one. And then there's a couple of songs actually that Larry had written the beds for, and I did kind of like just a scrap melody, not really lyrics. There's about 2 or 3 of them, beautiful songs. And I said, I'm going to finish these songs. And so that's what I'm working on for my solo stuff. And then of course with János, we're going to start nurturing these songs. Some are pretty complete. They just have, some of the sounds are dated. They were recorded like about, I would say, not that long ago. I don't know. 15 years ago, 10, maybe 10. And there's some sounds in there that we want to update or maybe redo it. So we're redoing those songs. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that's about 2 albums worth of material.
Okay.
That sounds pretty good. We'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah. And so that's cool.
Our new fans who may not be familiar with you, who Larry is and your relationship with Larry. We've heard the story here on Talking About Rock the last time we talked to you, and some folks may not know who Larry is.
Larry was my husband, my late husband. He passed away December 28th, 2013. He was a well-known producer, engineer. He did a lot of the Spyro Gyra albums, and he toured and recorded with Chuck Mangione. And he also was a world-class recording studio designer. He has studios all over the world. And he also, along with Mick Gazowski, who's a well-known mixing engineer, together they started up a studio speaker monitor system company called Gazowski Swiss.
Right, I remember we were talking about that last time a little bit, yeah.
Yes. And that's doing very well. We're growing. We're going to release a smaller system. The flagship model was the main system, but now we're breaking into new models, and that's going very well. Anyway, Larry was also my manager, my producer, my co-songwriter. He also recorded, he mixed, he did everything. So anyway, we wrote a lot of songs together.
So you said he had some studios. Do you still have those studios functioning, and are folks still recording in there?
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot in Europe, some in New York, some that are no longer open in New York, but he has quite a few. And the speakers are all over the globe as well. A lot in Europe, some well-known studios like Blackbird Studios, the speakers are there, Church Studios in London, England, a lot of well-known songwriters like Max Martin record through the speakers, Espen Lind, just a lot of well-known and studio mastering facilities in Europe. The company's doing very well. And very
excellent, well. Excellent. So kind of getting back a little bit to the songs you were talking about. So what are you thinking of the time frame to get that material together? And I assume you're going to put out like either going to do tracks, or are you going to have the whole album come out, or what are you thinking?
We don't know yet. I just discovered them. It was probably about 2 weeks ago, and I just spoke with Janos last week, and I presented him all the songs, because it's been years, that we've been working together, and so a lot of time, and everybody's involved in different things. So I sent him everything. He goes, "Oh my God," he goes, "I forgot all about these." I said, "We have to do something with these songs." He goes, "Absolutely." So this is a new thing, and he's building a brand new studio where he lives in Budapest. So, but I don't think it's going to make a difference as far as our progress, because what we have to do is we have to go through, kind of break things apart, redo. It's probably going to take a while.
Right. And then you have to demo everything and then kind of go back and forth a little bit. But a lot of folks have home studios. I'm sure you have some home recording equipment as well to kind of demo some of that stuff and get some of that stuff together there.
Yes, I have my little studio set up here. It would be nice to be able to go to Budapest and put the vocals down there. So, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, that'd be a great trip.
That would be a great trip.
Right. And you're saying the one song you're talking about was a little darker. Are you deciding to go maybe a little bit more toward the rock side? Because you're kind of more like usually like a bluesy type of like a sound. Your songs usually are. Are you thinking about going a little more hard rock sound?
Not really. No, I'm not going to be going hard rock. If I do, it's going to be more for, and this is the next thing I was going to talk to you about, as you recall, the band Fire. I don't know if I talked about Fire in our last interview.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit about them, but go right ahead.
Yeah. Well, I heard from Mike Guy, who's a songwriter for Fire and a genius of a songwriter and producer and guitarist. And he contacted me a few months ago saying, "Hey, Jess, we're getting a lot of requests to release a CD, a new Fire CD." I said, "Well, I'm on board. Let me know what you want to do." And we released 4 songs previously. Now, the 4 songs, they were considered a demo, but they really were not. They were master quality, full-blown production sounding songs produced by Mike Wagner and Mike Guy. I mean, the production is amazing. So we are not sure what we're going to do, if we're going to keep the integrity of the current recordings, redo them. I say let's keep them the way they are because everybody's familiar with them and people are requesting them. But he has a lot more material, and material that I have that he's not aware of, that I have recorded, that we're going to see if we can, that we did in live shows and showcases when we were living in Los Angeles, when I was in Los Angeles, and redo them or record them officially. And again, that's something I probably would go to the West Coast to do. But that's a process that's also going to take probably a little bit longer, because we're all involved in our own projects. He's very busy. I'm very busy with everything going on. So it's going to be a slow process, but it's something that we're working on. And he's, like I said, he's an amazing songwriter. Very.
Right. And when you were playing with Fire out there in LA years ago, things were going great, and you guys had some amazing shows selling out things, and
yes,
what I've seen. So that'll be great to have some new material, maybe put a little new spin on some of the stuff coming out. And yeah, going back to the old archives, that's always a cool thing. We've talked to some people that do that and go back and see what they have, and they didn't even know some of the things they had, right? Like you were saying, you found the poem and stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing, and you listen to them and you go, what the hell? Why aren't these out there?
Right.
So they definitely survived the test of time. And like I said, some sound a little bit dated, but okay, it's okay. We can.
Right. Well, sometimes I've heard artists, say they've written things and it was like 8 years ago, and they put the cassette in a drawer somewhere and they bring it back out, and they maybe put a little spin on the song a little bit, and it sounds great. Maybe it wasn't the time to release it back then.
Exactly.
Right.
So you never know. Timing is everything nowadays with that. Sometimes it's better to wait.
And that's cool. You hear a lot of, well-known international artists that'll say, oh yeah, I've had this in my, my archives for 20 years, and it's a big smash hit. Now I go, wow. So, but it's interesting. I mean, you're in a different head, sometimes you listen differently, or you just simply find the song that you forgot and you just want to move on with it. So
yeah, I think the big one that comes to mind for me is with Whitesnake, when they had all that material that they had originally written, and then they kind of reproduced it, re-engineered it for the 80s, and it exploded for them with songs that they had years ago that really didn't get a lot of attention, So sometimes it's just the right time.
It's so true. And sometimes like you get caught up in every day, or you get involved in different projects, and those things fall to the wayside. But I'm telling you, I'm so happy I went through. I mean, it was pretty overwhelming to go through the archives. Like I said, I can't even tell you how many external drives we have. There's glyph drives, 2 terabyte drives full of material. There's videos, there's sessions, some stuff. There's even videos that I've never even seen before that Larry captured at shows that we did in Europe. And I'm like, oh my God, I never saw this.
Right.
Put everything up on YouTube and get it out there.
Yeah.
But
So have you thought too about having any of that material maybe offered to anybody else to see if they want to record it or use anything?
Absolutely. If they hear it, they absolutely.
Well, I want to say that your values and attitudes change from when you're in your 20s to when you're in your 50s or your 60s. So that probably gives you a whole new, fresh look at it as well as you grow and mature throughout the years.
You're so right about that. I actually have the CD. It's a CD, and I call it Snips, because there's probably about 25 songs, and some are full songs, some are little snips or whatever. I put that in my cassette, my CD player, and drive around and think, oh my God, this song is awesome. Oh my God, I could do this with this song. Or, oh my God, this song is like amazing the way it is. And you get all excited. And you get excited because you do hear it. You're right. You hear it differently. You've been through, going through writing with different people and recording and performing. You get different input from your musical criteria, I think, changes. And your ear changes, your your ideas change. You're more open to experimenting. The process is fun. I love it. Just love it.
Yeah, I think Jerry hit it on the head. You definitely become more open-minded the older you get, and you give a lot of things another chance or another pass to take a listen to see if there's something you missed, something interesting. But I know you had talked a little bit about something you had done back in the day, and you had kind of got into not designing, but I think like in rock outfits and getting rock outfits to different musicians. Had you ever thought about actually maybe getting into the design element or anything like that? All your stage wear is always very elegant and very classy, and I was just wondering if you ever thought about doing anything like that in a fashion type of setting.
Well, thank you for noticing and saying that. I do love it. I try not to wear things that are typical. I do. I think I have 3 or 4 designs that I have a seamstress here, and I'll just rough up a design, just very rough. And I'll say, do you think you can make this? Can you do this way? And I'll give her a few pictures of some other. What I'll do is I'll take elements from one design and kind of paste it together, and she goes off to it. So I have about 3 or 4. Let me think if I have 3 or 4. I have 4 designs, and I love it because, like I said, I know what I like, and sometimes you don't want to spend the money if you go to a well-known designer, that famous designer, and second, you want something unique, something unique. So maybe down the road, if I have more time, I'll spend more time on it. But yeah, as a matter of fact, I was approached by this lady from London who makes one-of-a-kind long coats. And she said, would you be interested in this coat? And I don't want to say it was on the coat, on the back of the coat, because I don't want anybody to know about it. And she offered it to me. And she said, I would love for you to wear this, wear it for your videos or your photo sessions or whatever. I'll give it to you for free. It's like a $5,000 design. That's what she charges. And I said, well, can you ship, what would it take to ship that over? And it's very expensive because you want the duty for that value is very expensive. But I did say, listen, if you can hang on to it and the deal is still on, I'm going to hopefully be in Europe. I'll just take a puddle jumper over and come and get it. Because she has this, I have to try it on. I gave her all my measurements. And so I'm waiting for that. It's just absolutely stunning.
That would be excellent. Yeah, I know a while back, I think you had talked about some dates that you had planning on going to Europe and some shows you were thinking about. So that's still in the works, and that's still going to be happening?
Absolutely. Now that things are opening up a little bit more, especially in Europe, and the agent that I have is based out of the Netherlands. So so they're touring, they're starting the tour a little bit more, starting to book clubs, and clubs are being a little more receptive and they're opening up. So we're looking at the end of August.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Tell me about it.
Right. Yeah, I know you have. I think you have a date coming up in October here in Buffalo with Sash Jordan, so that should be a really good show. And,
yes,
oh yeah,
I'm waiting for that one. They've been, because of the pandemic, it's been canceled 3 times. So now we're like, yay.
Yeah, I know. I think they're posting October 22nd or something is the show date, I believe, for that, the Showplace Theater. So that should be a really cool show. Yeah. So I'll be able to make it out that and then definitely check that out. We'll be able to chat for a little bit. That'll be great. I know Jerry would love to see you out in Nashville sometime. That would be amazing to be out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on here.
That would be awesome.
Just to play on.
I don't want to speak ahead of things, but we're trying to put the Musicians of Buffalo Christmas concert on the road.
Oh, excellent. That was going to be my next question. I hope you guys are coming back to do another Christmas show here, but on the road, that would be real fun. That would be great.
Well, Belly lives here already.
Right.
Yeah, we're talking about it, so I'll have to fill you in later on that, because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to speak out of
Don't worry. Yep.
So, but of course, we're ramping up the show in general. We're going to have some people join us to help us out, because it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of different layers to putting the show together. and we want to grow. We want to grow the show, so we're going to be working with some pretty interesting people. Again, that's not something I want to announce at this point, but it's something that we're working on. You know,
Just something that you're thinking about.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I really enjoyed the show that I saw, and then actually we're gonna show a little bit of live footage when we're done here from all you folks performing Highway to Hell with Jim Crean and Billy Sheehan and yourself playing that show that night. That was great. I loved seeing that. That was a really good time.
Sounds like fun.
That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It went by so fast, and we were so happy that people were out and enjoying themselves, and it was really a great show. A lot of fun. So
let's hope it stays that way.
Let's hope it stays that way.
Exactly.
So do you have some musicians in mind that you want to work with when you get rolling here with the recording and the touring?
Oh, what do you mean for the?
For the album, right?
That you'd like to work with in the
which project are you talking about?
Getting all these archives together and creating some viable songs in the recording studio.
Well, the one with Janos in Hungary, chances are he's going to pull his team together there and record there. For my stuff, I have to see who would be interested in helping me with the tracks. Bobby LaBelle is playing on the song that I told you about called I Wish I Might. He's playing the guitar on it. And my brother too, are simultaneously.
Great. Well, we look forward to all that material coming out for you. We look forward to your upcoming shows. Please check in with us and let you know what's going on, when your tour starts and when your material comes out. We look forward to definitely seeing that from you.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Add too that I'm going to be doing a few summer things together with Michael Hund. He has a series. Michael is amazing. He's always putting things together to get everybody together and play and perform and just get out there. And there's a series that's going to be starting up, I think in June. Yeah, in June, called the Bike Night series. Have you heard about that? It's
Bike Night series?
Called Bike Night series. It starts in June, and everybody's, there's every Thursday night, and everybody's different musicians and or bands are slated to perform. So I'll be performing on July 22nd, and it's a place called Wings. It's an outdoor venue, and it's in Orchard Park.
Yeah, I think I might have seen some advertisements come out for it. Yeah, so that looks
That'd
like
be
that's
fun.
gonna be fun. Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to be getting together. Also, Michael Hund and I'll be playing with Michael Hund, Dale Harrison, Bobby LaBelle, and Dylan Hund on the Sass Jordan concert. That too.
Excellent.
Is that your only date with Sass Jordan in Buffalo in October?
It is so far, but it'd be great to jump on a few more shows. So that would be nice. I would love. You never know. And lastly, I wanted to add, if you have a few seconds, I'm back to writing the album with the band, the Italian band from Rome. How we did their last album called Screaming Out Loud. I'm doing the lyrics for their new album coming out too. So
sounds like you got quite a few things in the works then.
A lot going on, but you know what? It's great. After 2 years of like, oh my God, the creative juices are ready to explode. So it feels good.
I love it. Yeah. Good for you. Well, Congratulations with all these projects.
Thank you.
Best of luck on everything.
Thank you. I'm so happy you guys invited me, and I see everything you're doing out there. Thank you again for all that. It's awesome. And
we love it.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming back and joining us for the anniversary show and checking in with everybody, letting us know where you're at. We look forward to your new material. Definitely, it sounds like it's going to be great. All the stuff you got going on. Musicians of Buffalo, Christmas show stuff going on. I can't wait to see the new stuff from that. We're going to let our fans check out some of the video that we did after this interview. But again, thank you so much for checking back in with us and joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jessie. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Have a great night.
You too. Good to see you both.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to this anniversary edition of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. We wanted to bring you back some more guests here. We have some folks we talked to about 4 months ago back in Nashville, and we wanted to check in with them. Last time we spoke to them, I think it was about 4 months ago or so. Jerry, you know what's going on and can you give us an update?
Well, I got invited to the video shoot maybe about 2 months ago for the guys from the guys for Lost Circus here, shooting video out at Skyway Studios. I guess that's up in Madison, Tennessee. You guys invited me out on a Saturday, and we had quite a day of it out there with girls dressed up like circus performers. And you guys did 2 video shoots that day. And looks like everything came out marvelous after the final mix. You guys want to talk about that experience? Anybody want to address that special Saturday?
That was a blast.
No doubt about it. I quite enjoyed myself.
We had a good time doing that. It was very educational.
Education.
Well,
Go ahead.
What did
I
you?
was just going to say, you know, I'm a little spoiled in that it's what I do as my main source of bread on the table is video production, television production. So I kind of knew what we were getting into when we bit off that weekend at the studio there, and it was delightful for me to watch Kenny and Chad and Steve sort of react to that environment, since it was something that they're a little less familiar with. Brian, who couldn't join us tonight, is also works in the television world as well. So he kind of knew what we were rolling into. But I think those guys can speak to it better. But it was funny to see their eyes bug out, you know, when we had the studio full of crew, and then we had our extras, our little clown friends joining us for This Place Is Mad. And I think a good time was had by all, and we're certainly more than pleased with the outcome. Super fortunate to have a friend, Pierre Lamour, who he and his brother are out of Montreal, Canada. But anything that you've seen video-wise or visually for Rush since I believe the Moving Pictures album, those guys were the go-to video production team for Rush. So, and they've done literally hundreds of other bands, Nine Inch Nails, Slipknot, you know, sort of run the gamut, sort of the whole range of rock acts. So Pierre stepped up and said, man, we are great friends. I love your music. I love the band. Let me do something with you guys. And I looked at him like, are you joking? And he said, no, I'm 100% serious. Let's get in the studio and have some fun. So we did, and I'm certainly pleased. I think we all are proud of the outcome for This Place Is Mad. And the other video we shot, we'll hang on to that, but it's a little similar in look, but definitely a different theme. So that'll be coming down the pike here pretty soon.
And of course, that other one didn't have the circus performers. It was just This Place Is Mad. Tell us a little bit where you found those girls. I know you told me where you found them. The girls dressed up like circus performers that danced around the band on stage in the video.
Jerry is fascinated with the girls.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so, Jerry.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
And they appreciate you too. No, oddly enough, I was having a discussion on set at another video production that we were looking for some circus performers to be a part of that video. And a camera operator friend tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "What is it exactly you're doing?" And so I sort of loosely explained the concept of the video, and she said, I think I can hook you up. And I'm like, okay. I had no idea. Much like,
That's kind of an open-ended statement there, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, and I was ready for most any answer.
We got hooked up.
Yeah, so it turns out Jordan is part of a local burlesque community, and she and her friends do burlesque shows, and they do she's got friends that do other clown sort of circus related things, jugglers, sword swallowers, you know,
Lots of
just
stuff
sort of-
going on underneath the big top, shall we say, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I said, hey, why not? Let's give it a shot. She called me 2 days before we went in the studio. She said, I've got 4 girls and this is going to be all you need. And it worked out that way. So, you know, and the funny thing is they had as much fun as we did that day. You'll notice some scenes in the video where the girls are actually on the instruments. You know, before we wrapped for the day, I told Pierre, I said, let's do one more pass with the girls playing all the instruments and Steve still singing. And in that one pass, we grabbed enough really great stuff to include, cut into the video, and everybody had a great time. They had so much fun. They're like, you know what? You can't leave us out when you do your first show. So the girls are going to come out. They're going to be part of the act, you know. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. We may have opened a bizarre can of worms here, but you know.
No, I think that visual is perfect, man, for the shows to do that, you know, to have some maybe circusy backdrop, have performer. I think that's great. I think that's perfect. Definitely for what you guys are going for, you know.
So when are you guys going to do this first show? Do we have any projected dates yet or locations?
Yeah, it's going to be at
I can read your lips.
Yeah.
More news is coming soon.
We are in talks. Let's put it that way. So there's certainly more forward motion than less now. So
right. I mean, we could know as early as tomorrow or the next day, but no later, I would think, than end of this week. So.
All right. That sounds awesome.
Big announcement.
Big announcement. So cool. So I wanted to take a quick pause here, and we're actually going to play. We're going to play the video for the Places Mad here that you guys did. Amazing job, amazing videos. We'll let you folks check it out here from Lost Circus on Talking About Rock.
One word, you let This place is mad. 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 And this place is This place is
All right, we're back here on Talking About Rock with the guys from Lost Circus. Just checked out the video for This Place is Mad. So cool, so cool. And it looks like, you guys are getting some streams going on Spotify for sure. It's been kicking up there, I've seen.
Spotify, yeah, definitely. Apple Music, Amazon, whatever streaming platform it is. It seems like we've done pretty good. Chad probably has the numbers. You got any numbers, Chad? Chad, you got numbers?
Yeah, we're on Spotify. We're now averaging, anywhere between 50 to 60 listeners, per day or so, and 200 and 300 streams per day based on those. Apple Music, it's a little less on Apple Music, but they're also a little slower to actually update the numbers. They hold them back a little bit. The big pushes we're seeing for sure, thankfully, the video we just watched, This Place is Mad, we're closing in on 8,000 views on that, and it's also pushed up the view counts on the lyric video for She's a Fire that we released back in November. So we're definitely getting more spins and more traction there, and looking forward to seeing how all that takes off once we actually get out in the real world and put the live show together.
And also the spin, like we were going to talk about at the Predators games, they've been playing little clips of This Place is Mad, and people have been texting us saying, "Hey, I heard you song at the game." And also,
Yeah, that's excellent. I saw the clips you guys have up there. You had to be so happy when they were doing that, right?
Oh yeah, anytime there's a scuffle going on, everybody get the crowd riled up.
We're praying for fights.
Yeah. I think most hockey fans do.
We're of the mind that you go to a fight and a hockey game breaks out.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And I want to ask you another thing. You guys got a shout out from Eddie Trump doing some video for you guys. That was amazing. Did you get to reach out to him, or how did that come about?
Yeah. So I mean, everybody, it's no secret, he's on Cameo like many people are, and I just took a shot in the bucket and said, you know what, I'm going to reach out to him on the business level, not just like the $70 level where you get your you tell your buddy happy birthday and all. We went through the business route on there, and I sent him, quite frankly, sent him a message. I said, look, we'd love to hear what you think about what we're doing. We recognize your role in the metal community, and the metal show and everything that he's been a part of. And I again, quite frankly, in my message to him, I said, if you don't like it or you don't feel like this is an appropriate ask, by all means, you can say no, and we will absolutely be perfectly fine with that and respect that decision. And,
yeah, I mean, he's definitely not someone to usually put his stamp on something unless he really, really thinks it's something special.
Yeah, and I was sitting there, I sent the Cameo, and I figure, well, they generally have about 7 days to reply to you with yes or no, and it was, I think, maybe 3 or 4 hours later, I got a text message that said your Cameo is ready, and I was like, what? And then I went and watched it, and my wife was sitting there watching me she was like, "What are you watching?" And she was like, "Your face just lit up." And I was like, "Oh, you got to see this." I was like, I cannot believe what he's actually, he gave us such props, and again, coming from someone that's in that genre and is looked to for, for everything new or just everything rock and metal, it was huge for us. And I know I speak for everybody. We were all just floored and extremely grateful for his comments and the fact that he would be willing to share the music.
Yeah,
We had
Bush, that's for sure.
down.
He's very forthright and very honest when it comes to his opinion.
Yeah, and in his reply, I mean, he said that. I mean, he made the point to say, look, if I didn't believe what I was saying right here, I wouldn't be making this cameo, or I wouldn't be, suggesting their music or anything. But it really, truly hits everything I look for in this type of music. So.
Yeah, he's not scared to give his opinion. A couple weeks ago, he was giving his opinion on what he called out some bands on basically, using backing tracks for some songs and stuff like that. And obviously that's been going on for a while in a lot of bands, but he called out some certain bands for that as well.
Yeah.
Well, I know he called out that one that just basically walked away from the microphone, and it was obvious that the lead tracks were all, but hey, to each their own.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty blatant right there. At least try to disguise it a little bit if you're going to do it.
Right.
Yeah. But wasn't it Tom Harding, the producer for Lost Circus, that commented about your post on that, Rob?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is everybody's conflating anything that happens at a rock show is cheating. Like
Right.
Judas Priest opens with they play the song "Out in the Cold." They use a track. A lot of bands use tracks for different things, but these guys were actually using their lead. Like me, I will never use a lead. Someone sing my song, myself play.
Yeah, I mean, we can be totally honest, right? Every professional performer has the show available to them on a hard drive if something happens, if they want to use that. That's been going on for a long while. But I think the key is we want to see if they can still pull off the live performance, if they're still able to do that. But it's a two-sided thing, right? I mean, you want to go see there and you want to have a great entertainment experience. You want it to be as real as possible. But if it's an older act and they're really trying, you don't want to be let down too by saying, oh, they really can't cut it anymore. And it's kind of, let down about it. So it's kind of like a two-sided thing, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, on the other hand, in recent news, there appears to be some guys that just need to outright give it up. And, there's been some clips out there of Bon Jovi here recently, just tanking Wanted Dead or Alive. And we know that Vince Neil of Motley Crue and Paul Stanley of Kiss has their troubles with their vocals these days as well.
I could comment on that if you want.
Listen, you know what? Everybody has a bad day. Some people have consecutive bad days. But I think from the business side of doing live shows, I would rather, if I've paid $100 for a ticket or $150 for a ticket, I'm going to see a show. It's not necessarily about one guy standing up there on stage and whether he can sing or not. I'm there to see the show. If there is a means to sort of provide maybe a crutch, if you want to call it that, or some assistance to get them through it, I don't have a problem with that. And it's, I guess it's to each his own, but I'm there for the all-encompassing experience.
Right. Yeah. Like we said, we know it's been going on for a long while. Eddie Trunk just kind of brought it back again to the forefront with his comments. And I did see that post, Jerry, about Bon Jovi today. Yeah, that's going to really knock him for a little bit of a loop. But on the other side, I did see some really positive posts about Vince today, getting in shape, doing some posts with his girlfriend, looking much better. You know, I have real high hopes. I'm a big Motley Crue fan. I look forward to the stadium tour this year for sure.
I got
tickets for that,
I got
right?
some singing comments if you want to hear some singer's perspective.
Sure. Go right ahead.
My turn. No. I look at those guys, and of course I feel for them because I'm a singer. What I have that they don't have is I haven't been singing heavy metal music for 40 years straight. So my voice is still like it was back in the day because I've been periodically singing here and there with cover bands and whatnot. So I haven't ruined my voice. If you sing every night for 6 months in a row, look at Rob Halford. He can still do it. It's nothing like he could do in the 90s or nothing like he could certainly do in the 70s.
Right. And I think that's the thing too, is like a lot of these bands, when they start out, they're younger, they got so much, pent up energy, and they're not really thinking far ahead in advance, saying, if we're around 20 years, am I still going to be able to sing this stuff? Am I still going to be able to belt this out? They don't give themselves a lot of room to maneuver sometimes and do that. But
I heard a story about Brian Johnson with the first album he did, Back in Black. After it was done, he said basically the whole team was like, man, we should have done that in a lower register, and his voice has changed a lot since that first album. Even the second album, he wasn't the same as he was in the first
right.
album.
And he struggled for a while with some issues too, but he's come back. So
yeah, they all do.
He kind of painted himself into a corner early.
Right. That's what with this one, we tried not to. I mean, I could sing. Okay, singing Jeff Tate stuff is way easier, if that's even real to say, than singing Sebastian Bach stuff, because Sebastian Bach has got that gritty, the crunch in his voice.
He's got a screech to his voice. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and Jeff Tate's got a smooth voice. He doesn't have that bite. It's a beautiful voice. So there's just, everybody sings a little bit different. So on our album, we consciously thought me personally, I need to not over sing. Not saying that those guys over sing. I'm just saying I don't need to do that because we've got a short window here to do something, and I don't want to ruin my voice in the first album, the first tour or whatever we do. So I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have brought that up about Bon Jovi, because I believe, Kenny, you told me that you guys were in the running to possibly open up his show here in Nashville. You entered a contest, I believe.
I think they've all been picked.
Contest.
What we had to do was, Bon Jovi was looking for local opening bands to do each city, and you had to submit a video. So we kind of got into it late because we were waiting on our video to be edited, but we did get submitted, and we're thinking that our time has run out on it because they're supposed to let you know 2 weeks ahead of time, and the tour is going to end soon. So there's still, I guess, is a possibility. We haven't heard that we didn't get it or we did get it. So, but that tour is going to be ending in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it ends the 30th.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nashville date's April 30th, and when I submitted everything, I mean, the feedback from that was basically if you are chosen, you would be notified no less than 2 weeks before the date. Now, if they call us, in a few days from now and say, hey, can you still do it? I'm gonna be like, yeah, we'll still do it. But because we'd be morons not to. But yeah, it's we did, we put our stuff out there, and that's all you can do. I mean, the worst they can do is say no.
Right.
I have no ill will against any of those, Bon Jovi or Vince Neil or any of those guys.
Oh yeah.
They're just doing what they're trying to do. Everybody's got their own opinion. I mean, I want to sing. I want to see everybody that I see in concert sing like they did on the album, or 25, how they sounded 30 years ago. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, we're just happy that we're getting a chance to see some of these guys again. And it might not be under the best of circumstances. Obviously, they're torn because there's no more record sales and things like that. But it's great. It's great to see these bands again, And some people didn't have a chance to really see a lot of them the first time around. I mean, Jerry and I were lucky. We saw tons of shows when we were younger, so we saw a lot of these guys. But
in that area up in New York and stuff like that, I mean, that's just a mecca for shows back in the day.
Back in the day, we saw like 5 or 6 shows every summer. There was a big name here, Def Leppard, Judas Priest, Whitesnake, Rat, you name it. All the 80s bands came through here at some point, we all tried to get our tickets where we could, for sure.
Yeah, our concerts were 3.5, 4 hours away, and we had to go to the local. It was what a Kroger would have been like up at where I came from. You have to stand in line and wait for it to click to the last second and then say, "Hey, I want to buy a ticket." And then they'd have to call Ticketmaster on a phone. This was back in the old days.
Oh, wow.
And then we'd have to take the day off from work or school and drive.
Yeah. So if we really out here back in the day, if we really wanted good seats, you slept out overnight, and they had a line, and eventually they had like bracelets they gave you, and you had to check in with the line like every so many hours before they opened the window in the morning.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we would get our first couple rows or get front row seats. Back then you could sit front row for $50 or less. You could get your front row seats.
But it was brutal sleeping out in December and January in Buffalo, New York.
Oh yeah, it was. We learned to pay other people to do that for us at one point. Where we didn't have to do it ourselves, but or we'd stay at the bar all night and then go back, but.
Steve, what's your hometown that you were talking about?
Belfast, Maine. It's halfway up the coast of Maine. Barely a city, about a little over 6,000 people. So it was an actual city.
So you were talking about
loved living there. Great place to grow up. I just had to move away for the opportunities here.
Yeah.
Music opportunities here.
New York was a great place to grow up as well. Good people up there.
Yep.
So I guess you had to drive into Boston to see the shows?
Portland, Maine had shows. It was about 3.5 hours away. And then if we wanted to go, we could go to New Hampshire, would have one once in a while, but mostly Portland, Maine, and Massachusetts, someplace, wherever they had it in Mass.
And the rest of you guys grew up around here, right? In Nashville?
Yeah.
Yeah. Local yokel.
So did you guys all see the Judas Priest show, or was it just Kenny out there that night?
No, Tom was with me.
That's right. There was a lot of reminiscing about the municipal auditorium and how it was nice to gather as friends again and see a show just like the old times, like growing up there in Nashville in the 80s and seeing a ton of shows there. So how was that experience for you, seeing Judas Priest, especially you, Kenny? You're a big JP fan.
I love the municipal auditorium. I've been going to shows there since 1984, and I love Judas Priest. Every time I see those guys, it's great. And yeah, they're getting older, and they've lost a couple of members along the way, but it is still great music.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was an awesome show.
Yep, definitely one of the premier metal bands for sure, and it's so great to see them still doing it. So I wanted to go around the horn real quick here too, and maybe you guys could tell us who or what really influenced your sound for this album. Is there someone that comes to mind, some band or some album? If we want to go around the horn here, maybe start with you, Steve. If you could tell us who influences you for Lost Circus music, really.
Okay, I'm a huge Megadeth fan. And people say, yeah, but he hasn't got that great voice. I was like, well, it fits the music, but he's one of the most original riff writers, songwriters. I was talking to Brian a while back, and I said, I defy someone to pick 2 songs and tell me that he's written that sound exactly alike or close to exactly right. Everything he writes on every album is totally different. And that's kind of what I was going for here, was just to make sure it's melodic, my part melodic, and then the other guys always make it sound better anyway. So I would say musically that. Vocally, I'm a Halford fan. I have been. I'm a Tate fan. Sebastian Bach. That's the style of music I like to sing. Plus, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a huge Diamond Rio fan, and I have everything they've ever done. I've met them a couple times, and I can sing every song they've ever played. I have a country music background, and Marty Rowe, the lead singer, has one of the best voices of any singer alive, in my opinion. So I think that helped with a lot of the writing process, the story, making sure that there was a decent storyline and not just, yeah, baby. Yeah. I tried not to make it just that, because we want it to be a fun, we want it to have, a lot of musicality. Is that a word? Musicality.
It is now.
Okay, it is now.
Yeah.
I just wanted us to have fun and be professional. I'm not going to sing about demons and killing people and stuff like that, but there's some goth elements to some, like Ashes and Rain is basically, it's a vampire love story, love-hate story. That's what I was going for when I wrote it. You could, there's different stories for everything. Not everything has to have a story, but as long as it makes sense, if you can read the lyrics and it makes sense, that's what we were going for. So there's a few bands out there that really inspire me to write the way I write words and melodies.
All right. How about you, Kenny? Who would you say is your inspiration for Lost Circus, or some of the songs, or some of the sound?
I'm really an old school guitar player. I come from the days of Kiss and Black Sabbath and Ozzy and Van Halen. My songwriting styles is I like to write songs that are really hooky, something that grabs you. And I don't really write long epic songs. I try to keep them short and to the point, but they always have a hook, a good chorus, and nice solos and things that when you hear it, it sounds like those old songs that always you can hum the songs in your head.
Yeah, if it's got a nice hook, definitely it's something that, like you said, gets in your head and people remember that for sure. I love songs like that myself.
You can sing, if you can sing the guitar parts, the solos, and sing along to the words, to me, that's a good song.
Right. Yeah.
So I come from that old school verse, chorus, solo, bridge, chorus, that's the style of song I like to write.
Yeah, cool. How about you, Tom? What would you say is your influence for your sound, or for the Lost Circus feel, shall we say?
Well, I've always loved drummers that play a double kick drum kit, so and my above all-time hero for years and years and years, back to Pat Travers and even Black Oak, Arkansas, is Tommy Aldridge. There's really no one else out there like him. He plays, I had a guy tell me one time, so any idiot can play the drums, but a musician plays the song. Tommy Aldridge plays the song. Now, can he do a solo and rip your face off and stick 2 drumsticks down your throat? Yes. I would never even attempt that, but he plays so tastefully for the song that he's been my personal musical influence. As far as bands go, and it's what Lost Circus is now. It's a twin lead guitar driven musical entity. Both guitar players are equally capable of solos, harmony solos, Queensryche, Judas Priest, even Scorpions to a degree. It's so much fun from my perspective, from where I sit, to watch those guys play and play off of each other when we're doing rehearsal and when the live show happens. I can't overspeak it enough that those of you in the audience are going to be immensely pleased. But the other thing that makes me want to play, it makes me want to be a better player, is the way Chad plays bass, and the way that I feel like, have locked into each other. Very much a Queensryche kind of feel. When Scott Rockenfield was in Queensryche and he and Eddie Jackson would play, it was as if it was one instrument, right? The rhythm section is so solid that it allows the freedom for the guitar players to do what they do. It allows Steve to do what he does, and know that solid foundation is there. So You know, and to Kenny's point, you know what? Since I was big enough to see over the dash, riding down the road in the car, playing air drums to something, if Joe Lost Circus fan, any of the clowns out there that are fans of Lost Circus can play air drums to any of our songs and not sit there and go, oh, how do you do that? Or what's he doing? Blah, 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 blah. I don't want it to be so complicated that it starts to alienate people. You know what? People can air guitar all they want to any of those 8 songs on the Lost Circus CD. They can try to sing Steve Libby's parts, but you know, it's just something that we feel like, I think, is relatable to any rock music fan.
Yeah, definitely want it to be a fun experience and hooky and memorable for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, sometimes these bands are way over the top, especially some of the progressive bands. Rush comes to mind. There's a lot of people that hate Rush just because they're over the top and they do too much. I love them, but some people don't.
I love them too, and appreciate the level of talent. Could I ever in a million years be Neil Peart? No. Do I admire him? Everything he ever played, you know, and Chad's probably the same way. You know, I won't speak to his influences, but you know, it's what feels right, I think.
Right. So what would you say, Chad?
Well, I mean, when I came into the band, the bulk of the tunes were already kind of there, you know, so the writing process, and so I'm kind of looking forward to the next one. So I get to have my dabble in it, you know, but I, you know, they did let me, you know, put my own spin on the songs. You know, nobody told me, okay, this is exactly what you have to play on the bass. But as far as my influences, first and foremost, on the top of every list I have, and just about every instrument from the band, is Faith No More. But to the point, Billy Gould, their bass player, is the bass player I always listen to and look to go, that's the sound, that tight, punchy, thump, thump, thump. Like, and to Tom's point, you know, I mean, if you listen to Faith No More, Mike Borden and Billy Gould, one of the tightest rhythm sections you'll ever hear. And of course, I've got my usual, you know, influences as well in this genre of music. I mean, I grew up, you know, idolizing Cliff Burton, you know, clearly, you know, Geddy Lee to the Rush point. And then also big fan of Paul McCartney, Beatles. Huge fan of Dean Denning. Dean Denning plays bass for Toad the Wet Sprocket. There's a song off the Fear album called Butterfly. If you listen to that song, that song has one of the most perfect bass lines I've ever heard in my life. And, you know, as far as melodic playing, I feel like I try to emulate that at times. I definitely, if you go back and listen to Ashes and Rain, I've actually tracked that one on my fret list and really wanted it to be more melodic rather than rock, so to speak. I mean, it is still a rock ballad, but you know, I think all of those things kind of filter in. And so back to Tom's point again, I mean, I was extremely happy from the first times we jammed together that Tom and I locked in pretty quick. That's, you know, as a rhythm section, that's important. And I've definitely played in bands or tried out or auditioned or sat in, you know, with a cover group or whatever, and hated the whole night because me and the drummer did not match.
Yeah, know? That's a big key for any band, right? If the bass and the drums don't match, it's not happening.
Yeah, and it's not a slam on whoever I played with that night. We just didn't gel, you know. It's not that he was a bad player or I was a bad player or we both had off nights. It just was legitimately the chemistry wasn't there. You know, I had an instance like that in college. I played in the commercial music ensemble in my college, and myself and the drummer that played for 3 semesters together. Well, when we joined the audition for the roles, we both kind of admitted after the fact that we were sizing each other up in the room. Like, he was like, "Oh, great, who's this bass player that I've got to play with?" And I was like, "Oh, I hope this drummer doesn't suck," you know. And of course, we ended up locking in, thankfully, and it was 3 years of just awesomeness as far as
He
I was.
said the same thing when he came to the Lost Circus rehearsal. I hope this
I hope this doesn't suck. Yeah. No, I'm glad that Brian reached out to me, and I mean, I know that there were some shoes that walked in and out of that room, and I'm glad I'm the guy that filled the shoes. So.
Well, the
We
thing
are too,
most
Chad.
about Lost Circus is your camaraderie between you and your friendship, and how you guys are a tight, cohesive unit. And it was really a joy to see all 5 members of Lost Circus at that show out in Murfreesboro with Oblivion Myth, Noise Cult, and Some in the Moon. And I really took notice of that, on how all 5 guys came out to support their friends on the local scene. So I just wanted to say it was great to see you all that night.
Yeah, it was a good show. Good night.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So who else do you guys go out and see on a regular basis locally, and who are some of the bands that you really enjoy on the local scene?
I think, Kenny, you get out more than anybody. Kind of around the town, aren't you?
I've met them a couple of times at these shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to go see tribute bands. I was in a tribute band, and I really like to go see bands that that can mimic their heroes. So anytime a good tribute band comes around, I try and go, I guess, size them up, to see how well they play the music. But
Yeah,
and one of the reasons I go to tribute shows is because you know exactly what you're going to get. If you go to see a cover band, you might not like half of the music they play.
Yeah, that's such a huge thing lately, right? I talked to a lot of people about that. I was talking to one of the club managers the other day about the tribute band thing and how big it's blown up, and there's all different tributes all around going on, So if you're like for example, there's a Kiss tribute band out here, and it's kind of cool for them. So like, say one of their members, has an issue or something, they might call one of the other Kiss tribute bands and pull in, his Ace Frehley or his Paul Stanley to do some shows or stuff like that. But Kiss, Heart, Styx. I mean, the list goes on and on because of the ticket prices, right? There's some really great ones. We've talked to a few of them on our shows. And there's some really cool ones. We have a show coming up this Saturday, matter of fact, at the Showplace Theater, the Fleetwood Mac Experience, Fleetwood Mac tribute band that I've been wanting to see for a long while. So that should be really cool. Yeah, but the tribute thing is just exploding all over.
It's a way to see the music that you love. And 9 times out of 10, the people playing it are really good. So there's no filler music. You don't. When you go to see a Kiss tribute band, you're going to get Kiss. So, and that's why I do a lot of the tribute stuff.
Yeah, I mean, typically you would think, if somebody's going to go through the trouble of doing a tribute, they're going to do it the right way, and they're doing it because they love the band they're doing the tribute to. So that's, you can always tell if somebody's really into what they're playing.
Yeah.
Be it original or cover, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've done my fair share of gigs over the years that, there were just a pickup gig that I got called in to do, and I wasn't thrilled about it. And I got done with the show, and my wife was like, "Well, you really enjoyed that one, didn't you?" And I was like, "Was it that bad?"
Yeah. Jerry and I got a chance to catch, I think it was Thunderstruck not too long ago. They played out there, and then they played here a couple of weeks later, AC/DC tribute band. They did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Kenny saw him. I was with Kenny there that night at Hop Springs.
Those guys are really good.
Yeah, they were. Out of Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep, they're definitely tearing it up for sure. So I'm not sure who to direct this to, but if you can maybe tell us a little bit, what's next for Lost Circus? Are you guys got some writing that's going on? You're looking to put together the next album, or are you really concentrating on touring at this point? Or kind of what's next for you guys, because you released a couple singles and it seems to be doing real well. So I'm wondering what's the next part of the plan.
Well, for me, I'm looking for a new band to start because these guys.
He's going solo.
We're tucking away a few riffs, maybe some words, poems. I don't know, something. We'll get another album out eventually for sure. But right now, we're concentrating on this first show that will happen. Soon.
Great. We really look forward to the announcement about it and what's happening with you guys in the future. Definitely, for sure.
That will be in the city of Nashville, right?
Or nearby.
Or close.
we have to stay tuned. Everybody's got to wait and see what happens under the big top. We'll see what's going on behind the curtain with Lost Circus.
It's always a big secret with these guys.
Isn't that crazy? So hey, before we leave, happy first anniversary to Talking About Rock.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. We've made it for our first year. We weren't sure. We're really lucky. The guests we've had, you guys have been great. We've had other guests come back and speak with us. We've been to tons of shows. Jerry's going to shows out there all the time. Sometimes both days, Friday and Saturday, we're going to shows. And by the time Monday rolls around, we're kind of hurting a little bit. But yeah, it's been an amazing time. What do you think, Jerry? When we started this out, did you think we were going to get a year under our belts?
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah,
It worked out pretty good, though. People have been very gracious and very forthcoming, and we've had a lot of great guests. What are we up to? We've talked to about 40 different bands or artists.
yeah. I think we have about
Right.
50 interviews up there so far.
I think I've seen just about every one of them too.
Thank you, Steve. We really appreciate you following, and I know you follow us on our social media. Definitely thumbs up for all that. We definitely appreciate it. Yeah, we had a collector's edition episode a couple weeks ago that seemed like fun. People enjoyed that, so we may bring that back. And we're putting together another episode that's going to be rock venues. So I'm talking to a couple different venues out here. We're going to be doing video tours of a couple clubs. Buffalo Ironworks, I'll be doing a video tour of that and speaking to their management. And another place called the Showplace Theater of Buffalo. I'll be meeting with them and doing a video tour of their place. And we'll be looking to do more stuff in venues out here, you know, coordinating shows and things like that. So, and then Jerry's going to try to hook us up with some stuff out there and see what else we can get on that show. So some cool things may be coming up too.
Yeah, maybe Bowie's or the Basement East.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what we got planned, and we look forward to everything else coming out for you guys. You know, so happy with the success you've enjoyed so far. We wish you the best on whatever's going ahead. We hope you can give us the lowdown at some point of what's happening.
Well, we'll let you know. Sure.
We would appreciate it. You know, we'll get our Lost Circus swag out there when we need to. But thank you guys so much for coming back and catching up with us. And it's been about 4 months or so. We're so glad to have you back, and keep rocking and keep doing what you're doing. We love it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Good to see y'all again.
Really appreciate it, guys.
All right, guys, you have a great night. Thank you so much.
See you.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care, guys. Keep on rocking.